Breaking news, Viking Nation. The storm is rolling over the north, and 5 shocks are cracking the horned helmet right down the middle. A battered offense quietly gets its shield back as a cornerstone protector returns to the front line. A once maligned corner is ready to lock down the boundary after clearing every test. The heartbeat of the run game is ripped away to injured reserve just as October's chill arrives. The rookie signal caller who is supposed to be the future isn't going to IR, but the ankle twist changes the immediate plan. And a familiar name with something to prove signs on, stepping into a quarterback room that just turned into a battlefield. Each of these tremors hits different, and each one could redefine the identity of this team. From how Kevin O'Connell scripts the first 15 plays to the final 2-minute drive when the season hangs by a thread. So here's the promise. By the time this ends, every piece will make sense. The protection, the secondary, the run game, the quarterback calculus, the mindset. But first, tighten the chin strap. Bombshell alert in Minnesota. Viking Nation, the storm starts right now with a revelation no one saw coming. And it detonates where wins and losses are truly forged, in the trenches. If belief runs deeper than rivalry, prove it. Drop a like, flood the comments, and smash subscribe to raise the yaller horn louder than any Packer troll would dare to handle. He'd been a shadow on the sideline, a looming absence felt on every snap, every pressure, every sack that bent the play before it could breathe. And then, suddenly, there he was, full participant, moving with that balanced violence, the kind that erases edge rushers and changes play callers' hearts from cautious to fearless. The mystery is no mystery anymore, because the weight of this offense shifts the moment this anchor is back in uniform. This is about how a line feels when the left side is a wall, how a quarterback stands taller, how a coordinator calls deeper shots, how a crowd leans forward at the snap because they know the pocket will hold. This is about reps, about timing, about rhythm rediscovered, one clean set after another. And then, like a hammer dropping on an anvil, the name lands. It's Christian Darrisaw returning to full practice, clearing the runway for a potential start that could flip protection from panic to poise. The effect isn't subtle, it's seismic. With Darrisaw, the blind side stops bleeding, the bootlegs come back, the play action stretches the field, and the entire offense breathes from the belly again. Remember how narrow the margins are in this league? One left tackle shifts blitz structures, forces coordinators to think twice, makes a defensive end hesitate a half beat. And in that half beat, a crossing route opens, a deep post actually develops, the QB steps and fires without flinch. That's what this means. And it's not just about survival, it's about identity. Vikings football isn't checking the ball down because the pocket collapsed. It's owning the edge, leaning on physicality, and daring defenses to win one-on-one when they know they can't. So ask yourself, how different does this team look with a true bookend back? How much louder does the crowd get when the 5 up front walk to the line like they own Sunday? And if the North is decided by who controls the line of scrimmage, do the Vikings just put their hand back on the throttle? If you believe the Norse way starts with the left tackle, hit that subscribe now. If you hate the Packers more than you fear the blitz, ring the bell and let's bury the noise. But hold on. As reassuring as this feels, the next update cuts even deeper. Because the sword isn't just swung on offense, the secondary has a new spark, a corner with speed, timing, and something to prove. And he's picking his moment in the shadow of a road trip that demands big boy ball. The whispers started when the helmet was off and the eyes were clear, when the trainers nodded and the tests stopped saying no. You felt it, the hum in the building, the corners and drills stepping sharper because competition was back. Because the room knows what a reliable boundary presence does for the entire scheme. First, the tease, limited work. Then, the build, a full-speed day. Now the truth. The secondary is about to gain a long, physical, clean-footed cover man who can clamp the sideline and let the pass rush hunt. The reveal hits like a jolt of cold air in December. Jeff Okudah is a full participant, aiming to return and stabilize the outside, the exact antidote to those 3rd and 7 crossers that became nightmares. This is more than a body. It's about leverage, about trust, about disguises looking real again, because the staff believes the corner can hold up in press and bail without panic. Think of how that helps the safeties cheat a half step toward the post, how it liberates the nickel to play tighter, how it tells the edge rushers, "Go ahead, take the wide track, we've got your back end." Okuda's road has been twisted, littered with setbacks and second chances, but this is a moment tailor-made for redemption. A road stadium, a backup QB duel, a defense that needs swagger, and suddenly gets a corner who can play the man and win the rep. Picture the first snap. Hands inside, hips square, eyes never leaving the chest. A route pinned to the boundary like a note under a magnet. That's how drives die. That's how the defense finds its anthem. So here's the dare. With Okuda clamping one side and the front seven feasting, do you feel the pendulum swinging back? Would you trust this group to steal possessions and tilt field position against a wounded opponent? And who do you most want Okuda lined up against when the game's on the line? If you believe defense travels, if you believe purple should suffocate, not survive, crack that like, fire a comment, and show the North that Viking Nation doesn't blink when the lights go white hot. And just when fans thought it couldn't get crazier, here comes the next bombshell. Because the ground game just took a gut punch that changes Sundays in a way no scheme can fully hide. Silence first. Because there's no way to dress this up. The heartbeat who brought burst, angles, and adult-in-the-room patience is stepping off the field for weeks that feel like miles. The playbook can adjust, the rotations can shuffle, but there's a human gravity that leaves when a proven playmaker goes to that list nobody wants to hear. The report landed like a winter branch snapping under ice. Aaron Jones is headed to injured reserve, and no amount of wishful thinking changes what that means. IR is not a rumor, it's a calendar. It's the difference between maybe and see you later. And it forces the Vikings to reimagine the ground attack on the fly. The staff won't panic. They'll diversify the touches, elevate the next man, borrow wrinkles from the passing game to simulate the run. Expect duo, split flow inside zone, some pin pull to get the edges moving, maybe a dash of angle routes and screens to keep linebackers honest. But everyone knows, Jones's vision on 2nd and 6, that surgical patience behind double teams, the accelerator through the crease, that's not plug and play. So the question becomes, who steps into the light? Is it a committee that punishes by accumulation? Is there a short yardage hammer who can tilt the math? Does the staff lean heavier on RPO and glance routes to simulate the early down efficiency Jones delivered? These are not minor tweaks, they're structural. The ripple effects track everywhere: play action depth, protection assignments, even how the defense rests when the offense sustains drives or doesn't. And it's here where leadership matters. Veterans own the room, young guys sprint through the door, and coaches prove why the headset sits on their heads. Rival fans will chirp. They'll say the season tilts with one injury. Prove them wrong. If you believe this team's identity is toughness, not a single name on a depth chart, stomp that subscribe, drown out the cheeseheads and the scoldini ears. But that's not the only fire burning inside this franchise. The next revelation is even more explosive, because the most scrutinized position in sports is now a chessboard with moving pieces, and the clock is already ticking on the next Sunday. First, the fear. Those two letters that chill a locker room. IR. Then, the mercy. Week to week instead, hope preserved, no long-term exile. The result is a tightrope act where development meets urgency, where the plan to build the future has to pause just enough for the present to survive. The reality lands with the kind of sober clarity only this league delivers. J.J. McCarthy is not going to injured reserve, but he's week to week with a high ankle sprain, and that means the present belongs to a veteran with scars and a canon who understands that Sundays are tests, not recitals. Enter Carson Wentz, the immediate starter, the guy who has seen every coverage and every collapse and still keeps coming. The coaches will squeeze the menu, condense formations, protect the edges, lean into play action with timing throws that punish soft zones. Without McCarthy, the rhythm of the room shifts. The developmental reps move to the classroom and the sideline headset. The corrections come on Tuesday instead of in the fire on Sunday, and the staff has to keep the long view alive while the short view demands wins. That's hard. That's grown-up ball. But here's the twist. The Vikings aren't waving a white flag. They're building a bridge. This is where leaders put an arm around the rookie and say, "You'll get your snaps. We've got you. Heel right." And it's where the play caller earns his reputation, finding explosives without exposing the QB, crafting outlet throws that keep 2nd and 9 from becoming 3rd and forever, stealing yards on perimeter motion, and quick pitches that feel like runs. Think about the stakes. A loss to the Falcons hurt more than the scoreboard. It dinged the soul. The answer isn't panic, it's precision. It's one sustained drive that reminds the defense they're not alone. One red zone call that turns 3 into 7. One fourth quarter where the headset gets quiet because rhythm took over. So here's the fan check. Do you want the rookie thrown back in at 80%? Or do you ride the veteran and let the ankle heal until the long season begs for the kid's fresh legs and quick release? And if this is the moment where Wentz shows there's still gasoline in the tank, are you ready to believe again? If you believe in the Vikings more than you hate the Packers, smash that subscribe right now. Stay with me, because what comes next will flip the script in ways nobody predicted. The quarterback room just added a name with battle miles and unfinished business, and the narrative gets juicier. It starts as a headline and becomes a statement of intent. When the depth chart shakes, when the practice squad can't be the safety net, when the sideline needs a voice who's been in the huddle with the play clock bleeding, there's only one answer. Add a pro who's lived the speed of this league. And Minnesota did exactly that. The signature is fresh, the locker is cleaned out and reassigned, the walkthrough aced with quiet intensity. The truth walks in with chin high and a chip the size of a skyline. Desmond Ridder has signed to the 53-man roster, stepping into the room behind Wentz while McCarthy heals, turning a fragile, thin line into a 3-man operation with real contingency. This isn't PR fluff. It's snaps in August, reads against disguised fire zones, the muscle memory of getting from 1 to 2 to 3 when the first look disappears. Ridder's path isn't a fairy tale. It's hard questions, tough film sessions, and getting told no before hearing yes from a team that actually needs him right now. That matters. It matters in how guys listen in the huddle. It matters when the headset says, "Kill, kill," and the front shifts. It matters because insurance isn't just paperwork. It's trust that if one helmet comes off, the offense doesn't collapse. And for the rival fans laughing from the cheap seats, let them. Let them mock the move and pretend they won't care when a backup quarterback game turns into a field position war and one deep shot to the post decides it. Minnesota isn't playing fantasy, it's playing football. A room of Wentz, a healing McCarthy, and Ridder ready is a grown man plan. Now imagine the sideline dynamic. McCarthy sees the game through the lens he gained in September. Ridder absorbs the menu and offers the look team precision. Wentz commands the stage, and O'Connell finds the balance. Quarterback rooms are ecosystems. This one just went from fragile to functional. And listen, the next chapter? It's the kind of news that divides a fan base right down the middle, because depth moves aren't flashy, but they're how seasons stay alive long enough for stars to come back and write the ending they want. If you ride for the horn, hit that like. If you want to choke out the green and gold noise, comment "Skol" and let them hear it from Lambeau to Lake Street. But trust me, the story only gets darker from here. Because all these changes crash together in one Sunday. One opponent, one test that will tell us who this team really is. Here's the mosaic coming into focus. A left tackle ready to lock the edge, a corner eager to erase a side of the field, a run game searching for new heartbeat, a rookie QB resting a stubborn ankle, and a new backup stepping into the fire. They meet an opponent that's wounded too, a game that smells like field goals and field position, like turnovers deciding fates. It's not glamorous, it's football in its truest, meanest form, the kind where pads thud and patience wins. This is where Vikings culture either shines or shatters. The script writes itself. Get Darisaw rolling early, establish a pocket, and dare the defense to beat 5 sturdy men. Use motion to force rules, stress the edges with jet sweeps and quick hitters that make linebackers widen. Hit the tight end on sneaks and sticks. Attack the intermediate windows when safeties lean, and take exactly one deep shot per quarter, whether they like it or not, especially off max protect, with Darisaw stapling down the blind side. Defensively, let Okuda play at the line and squeeze spacing. Funnel routes into the teeth of the help. Make this opponent live in 3rd and 8, and then bring heat from depth with late rotation. Special teams? This game screams hidden yards. Pin them, stress them, take your 3 when it's there, and refuse to blink. There is no IR solution for belief. There is only Sunday. So answer the bell. Answer it with noise. Answer it with the kind of stubborn, defiant, Viking brand cruelty that makes a backup QB feel like he's drowning and a defensive coordinator cover his face with the play sheet. Questions for the tribe. Which unit sets the tone? OL with Darisaw, secondary with Okuda, or coverage teams with field position theft? Which moment flips momentum? A red zone stand or a 15-play drive that eats 8 minutes? And how many points do you need to win this kind of game? 17? 20? Be honest. Plant your flag in the comments, because if this locker room hears you, if they feel you, then the North is going to feel you too. Think this was wild? Just wait until the rivals make their counter move, because that war is only beginning.